I was in
Yeah.
their ship watching it. It felt like that.
So when you were locked in, I felt so extremely drowsy.
Go back to our planets, because our life on Sirius is not yet done.
Yeah. Elena, she says she's from Pleiades and her Pleiadian self is still there and she's come back 300 years back in time. So
Wow.
her actual time is over there and she's come back and her partner who's 300 years ahead is also in one of these ships and helping humanity.
Welcome to another episode of Spiritual Tea. And today, me and my friends got together and we decided to do something a little interesting. We decided to channel some information of global events that are happening and to see what comes through, basically. This is the first time I'm attempting something like this with my eyes closed, just so that I can feel a bit more connected to whoever it is that is coming through. And I must say it was a very interesting experience because when we did this together, and you will see it shortly now, a lot of information came through that I wasn't really expecting. And if you are watching this and if you feel connected or resonate with any of this information, or you've heard it from some other channel somewhere else, please leave me a comment and let me know so that it can validate some of this information. Some of it did feel very sci fi, but just take it with a pinch of salt and enjoy yourselves. I'll see you again in another episode. You can ask the first question now.
We're kind of feeling very lazy. There's a feeling that we don't want to do anything in life. Why is it that so? Should we trust the feeling or is it something, some complacency taking over us?
What they're showing me right now is like an expanded view from space, and I can see like a lot of spaceships around our galactic belt and also around Earth. As the way they're showing me Earth is with like it's got like an aura around it, like a
Mm-hmm.
membrane of energy around Earth. And right outside it, I'm seeing like, if not thousands, at least hundreds of spaceships waiting um, to enter this field of energy. And when I'm connecting with Earth's energies, it looks yellow on the inside, like the entire Earth looks yellow. And the membrane is like a translucent or transparent membrane. And that light is kind of making that membrane also look like this light yellow colored light. The feeling they're giving me is that there is a sort of stillness that I'm seeing in the movement of Earth, like as if her rotation has slowed down for some reason. And I'm seeing like these ships are waiting for the Earth to kind of like glow more brighter, like because the light on Earth, the yellow colored light is not as bright as it should be. That is the information that I'm receiving from all of these ships that are posted there. And it feels like they're waiting to land on Earth. And remember when we were discussing earlier about evacuations of a lot
Hmm.
of souls from Earth onto these
Yeah.
spaceships? I feel like once the Earth is ready, the membrane is going to dissolve, and
Hmm.
it almost feels like the whale is going to come down. And then these ships are going to land and make contact with all the humans on Earth. The energies are massive at the moment, at the point in time that you find yourselves in. And because of this heaviness of these energies, there is a lot of programming that is going on with the physical bodies and with the physical minds to allow the interaction of various species to happen on Earth. The interaction of these species is something that has been planned for a very long time. But this particular time, the humans have been already mass programmed to believing that this kind of interaction is detrimental for them. Hence, we want to deprogram the minds and the bodies from the concept of fearing the interaction. There's a lot of fear based programming that was done in the past, And because of that, we fear that if we were to land in your space and time right now, we would be not received with the kind of energy that would
Mhm.
be beneficial for all races on earth. And by this, we don't just mean the humankind, but we are also talking about those who have existed in your earth for eons, who also now wish to make their presence known. It is a dual sort of a interaction of species, not just from outside of your earthly realms, but also from within the earthly realms that want to make their presence known. And this is a lot for the human mind or the body to accept. Hence, the deprogramming is being run on a lot of timelines and on a lot of individuals on earth at the moment. There are some who are not being worked on as they are not yet willing to even encounter their own awareness of their own species and are too far out in the programming that cannot be reversed. Hence, we are letting them be for now, but working on all of you to recharge your energies in a way that would make you more receptive to these contacts. We do not want to address them as first contacts because it is not first contact. You have interacted with multiple species at some point or the other in your lives without you knowing that they are other species or from other planets or other beings of intelligence on your planet at the moment. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. Yes, it does.
We're also we are also trying to make sure that the government programmings on your planet, fear-based programmings of all the movies that have projected extraterrestrials as a race to be feared or threat, is deeply ingrained in your DNA structures. It is taking a lot of time for us to deprogram it, as we see that most of you are very stubborn and are holding on to the programming because it serves you for now. The heaviness that you feel, the feeling of not wanting to do anything, is because everything is going to change very soon. So,
Mm.
what you think you know so far is not what is going to be tomorrow. Does that make sense? So, when this change happens, the perception of your reality will shift drastically. You will notice things that were never there before. The veil is coming off, so to speak, and the frequency vibrations of the beings on earth are descending or reducing their frequencies to be more visible. They're also making sure that you are open to receiving it. Hence, everything seems to be in a standstill at the moment.
Mm.
There's nothing moving backwards or forwards. It feels like a state of limbo. It's because you're in a period of transition. Once this transition is complete in the year 2026, that is when you will notice all of these changes little at a time and then massively all at once. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, so we can expect first contact around 2026, initial contact, rather.
Again, when we speak of first contact, it is not the first contact.
Yeah.
We have been interacting with you and others like you on earth for a very long time now. It is the veil of recognizing these people as who they are is what is going to slowly diminish. We would say 2028 would be an appropriate year for the evidence to be out in the open.
Mm.
But you would notice these changes and shifts in energies, vortexes, portals, shapeshifters revealing themselves a lot more from 2026 onwards. And we mean towards the middle of 2026 onwards, as it is taking us longer than we expected to deprogram the fear concept from the physical bodies. So by 2026, we are hoping to be able to release most of this fear from your physical bodies and minds, to be able to receive more information of what truly exists around you. Imagine yourselves as being in a simulation of sorts where what you see is not your reality, but after the year 2026, what you see will become more of your reality
Okay.
because the matrix is falling apart.
Mm.
Everything becomes a bit more in your face, so to speak, literally in your face. You cannot avoid not seeing it anymore. And this has to be done slowly in stages.
Mhm.
And by the year 2032, a whole lot more would be revealed.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. That actually gave us a lot of insights. On one of the points that you actually had mentioned, yeah, I would like to have a little more explanation on it. You spoke about how these extraterrestrial ships are waiting above our planet and they are waiting to come in. On that note, I would like to ask you, is there going to be a situation on planet Earth where the beings on Earth would have to be evacuated from this planet for the sustenance of the humans itself, the humanity? Are we going to have a mass evacuation happen? Is there going to be extinction level event that is expected on Earth?
There are parts of this information that we cannot fully reveal to you. To answer your question, if there is going to be an extinction level event on Earth, yes and no, as this has happened many times before and it will keep happening many times after. The extinction event that you're talking about, erasing all life on Earth, is something that is not possible, as Earth herself wants to keep evolving. It is her decision if she wants to continue evolving or completely stop. But the extinction level event that you're talking about, the catastrophes, the calamities, they will happen to a certain extent, but not in a way that is going to wipe out Earth completely. If you're talking about humanity level perspective, there will be a lot of souls who might decide to leave their physical bodies to witness it from another level. In your terms, box office. They would watch it from the balconies instead of being part of that event. There are those who want to be part of that event to, how do we put it? How do we put this? To break their karmic cycles. It's the easiest way of putting it so that you can understand. There are some who want to stay in their physical bodies to go through the catastrophe that is going to take place on Earth to pay for what they have done before. And these are souls that have contributed to the catastrophes on Earth many a times before. And they want to now be part of that to understand how it might have felt or what the experience would be like. But most of you, and hence the ships being readied, will, when we talk about evacuation, it doesn't mean that you would be physically taken out to another location. It would be the souls, not the physical bodies, that would choose to live on these ships. Mm, the way they're showing it to me is souls willingly leaving their bodies and going onto these ships. It doesn't feel like death. It doesn't feel like mass destruction. It feels like groups of people are coming together and are deciding to leave their human forms and go in. Like it almost feels like they're, the way they're showing it to me is like, say if you and I are from Sirius and we are in this human form, we are stripping our physical bodies and coming into our Syrian bodies and then taking off. It is not that we are dying, we're transforming. We're letting go of one aspect of ourselves and fully embodying the other, and then embarking on these ships to be evacuated, or not evacuation doesn't sound like the right word. It what they're saying to me is like you're going to watch the entire thing from a different level of existence. You won't be part of the destruction.
Okay.
So it's very complex for me to explain it in words because they're not speaking to me anymore. They're showing it to me. And
Okay.
when they're showing it to me, it feels like people are coming in hordes or they're gathering together. And then suddenly they're all like removing their physical bodies, getting into their ET forms,
Mhm.
and then being beamed up or like being boarded up these ships. So whoever is from whichever race, their ships are there, willing to take them and go. But this is not going to happen for a very long time. I don't see it happening. Like I'm seeing the year 72, but I don't think it's 2072. I feel like it could be
Okay.
3072. But for the reason of explaining this, they're saying to me
Mm.
that it is how time works on Earth doesn't work like that outside of Earth.
Okay.
So when they are giving a timeline for them, it's very fast. For us, it could be a bit slower than usual. It's not the for them, it's like it's going to happen immediately. But for us, it could be like the next 100 years because time works differently for them than it works for us. That is how they're showing this to me. But I do see like a lot of land masses that are not visible anymore. Like when I'm being shown Earth, like from
Mm.
the aerial view, I'm seeing that many land masses are like when you look at the Earth from outer space, you see like a lot of green and blue, but I'm seeing like a lot of brown. Like I'm seeing like yellows and browns. Either it's been destroyed, the land masses have been destroyed by some sort of mm, fires or some sort of nuclear devastation. It seems to me like that because I don't see any greenery on the land masses. So it feels like all the trees have already left. And once the trees leave, that is when the humans are going to be evacuated.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. So the trees are also living beings
Yeah.
on Earth, and they have been supplying information for ages, and they have been recording information for the longest time since Earth had her consciousness. And the trees are the ones that are holding the entire planet together through their system of roots. Information is being spread across the globe through trees and plants. And these trees, what you see, they're not just rooted to the ground, they're choosing to be rooted in one place because of them being energy centers for that particular location. But when time comes and they want to move, they will move. They will uproot everything and go.
Wow. Fascinating.
Yes, almost reminds me of Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
They're also showing me like a video I'd seen earlier of a tree literally moving and somebody capturing this on a CCTV or something like that. Yeah, because I'm not seeing like one speck of green on the land. It feels barren, like if it is just desert or if it is just rock, how you would see it from outer space, right? It's like that yellowish, brownish color. That's how they're
Mm.
showing me the land masses and huge like entire Africa is like that.
Wow.
It looks like that. And that is when the humans will evacuate. It doesn't feel like once the trees go, that is when the humans are going to go. Because once the trees leave, they don't, there's nothing for any species to be there and do anything about. Because
So
then Earth is going to kind of, it's like a process of the phoenix for Earth. Like it's going to die out and rebuild itself again.
Mm.
very important.
So then the trees will come back. But it's a process that the earth has chosen for itself, and it's not something that's going to happen very soon. It feels like the year 3072 at the earliest.
Okay.
It's like 1,000 years.
Almost, yes.
Yes.
Do you have any
More
other
than
questions?
1,000. Yes. I would like to ask for a lot of people really would like to know this because there's a lot of panic that's happening in the Middle East with the Israel-Iran conflict that is happening, and people are scared where if other superpowers join in, the war can break out into a massive scale war, and people are in a state of panic because of this. Do you have anything to actually share with us regarding that?
We are trying to contain that energy to that particular part of your world. It has been a very difficult thing for us to do, not to involve the rest of the humanity in this particular space as of now. There's a lot of unrest that this particular war has created, and the effects of it will be seen in the Western Hemisphere more than the Eastern Hemisphere. The Eastern Hemisphere does not seem to be affected by this particular war as much as the light cast upon this destruction is more on the Western Hemisphere. So the effects of this or the aftermath of this particular disruption of energy will be seen more towards the West. A lot of civil unrest, a lot of economy collapsing situations that will bring more chaos, leaders seeking more power. We would like to also give information that this has been part of the Anunnaki plan of corrupting the world's energies and creating more fear based control. However, having said that, it is not just the responsibility of the Anunnaki. There have been a lot of others at play for this particular distress or disharmony, especially all the other wars that have taken place before this have also had the signature imprints of the Anunnaki and of those controlling the world economy. Having said this, we would like you to know that this disruption, we're trying to contain it as best as we can and not to escalate it into a bigger war of nuclear proportions. But we do see a lot of unrest with a country you call Russia, as they are now preparing nuclear weapons of their own. And we have been trying to deactivate as many as possible so that it does not become a full fledged war. Earth herself does not like what's going on. She has been cutting down resources to such countries as well through famines and through corrupted waters. She's trying to, in your terms, de-flee herself from energies that are not in her highest interest. The energies that are of this war, all we can say, the effects of it will be felt towards the western side of the Middle East, which is towards the Americas and towards some parts of Africa. There would be a lot of unrest in Africa regarding the global economy, especially the northern hemisphere of Africa. The northern part of Africa is going to face a lot of restrictions regarding resources, which would lead to probably a bit more chaos in those regions. The karmic justice of the situation will be seen very soon in the Western hemispheres, where people are going to start looking at their governments with much keen eye, where they are going to scrutinize every policy, every politician, every doctrine that is being portrayed in the media, and hence a lot of civil unrest. Economy might take a hit as well. This is the only information we can give you at the moment, as we're still trying to contain the matter. The energy is contained at the moment. If there is not too much interference from the ones that we're trying to contain it from, it is going to stay that way. But for now, this is the information we can give you regarding this matter.
Would you have a message for people for this time? How do we go through this difficult time?
We see a lot of uncertainty, a lot of chaos, not just in the country, but also amongst people. There has been a lot of you and I instead of unity. And because of that, we urge people to recognize that without unity, without understanding you are all from the same family, it would then become very difficult for you to stand up on your own to have all of the things that you want to have in this lifetime. We urge the entire human race to understand that the more they fight amongst themselves, even at the smallest scale that you call religion or any other sort of differentiation, you will notice that it will have ripple effects that will create more of that feeling of disconnect than the unity that you want to feel. The more you push the other person away at this time, the more disconnected you will feel with yourself. Having said this, we want you to understand that it is important for you to connect at a deeper level with yourselves so that you may understand that you are not of this body or the mind, but are of the essence that is all of us on this huge, massive disk of smoke and dust, which we call the universe. And we want you to understand the more connected you are with yourself, the more connected you are with all of us, not just on Earth, but on all of the other systems that we have in place with all other life forms and intelligences. And we're all here to support you on your journey. The moment you create a distance between yourself and the next being on earth, you are creating friction that will only have torn a bigger piece of you from yourself. Instead, find a connection with one another in the best way possible and keep moving forward, knowing that we are all here looking after you in your highest and best interest, giving you information when needed. But ultimately, since you all dwell on a planet of free will, we cannot enforce our ways upon you. You need to find the way out by going within and connecting more deeply with not just yourself, but with every consciousness around you. Does that make sense to you?
It does. I think that's something that happening right now. Everybody is being divided. So people are struggling to connect with one another, I feel. Everybody is in a chaotic state. They don't know where to find hope from.
We see this happening a lot more on your planet, and we would like to tell you it is because of the influence of the information that is being poured at you, which is mostly for entertainment purposes, whether it is the news or politics or entertainment itself, the movies, the music. It's all distraction. It's all distracting you from what you need to be and what you need to do. It is a temporary veil that is being put around you so that you are mesmerized by this shiny screen, that you are no longer interested in seeing your own truth. If you can, as a suggestion, not view life and the information of this life in the way that is being poured out, and use your own inner guidance system to show you the relevant information, you will be able to see more clearly the reality that surrounds you. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Harish, would you like to ask?
Yeah, would you have any predictions for the following years, coming years? And would there be a pole shift anytime soon? If so, could you give a timeline for that?
There are many things that are going to happen in the next coming years. Like we had mentioned earlier about the veil being lifted off for you
Mhm.
to see
Yes,
the people, the beings around you.
yes.
If you're asking about the world events, like natural
Natural.
calamities,
Yes. Should we be prepared, or is that something we don't need to be worried about?
there is a important thing that you need to understand here is even if the earth chooses to retaliate or rebel through calamities like earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, even floods or tsunamis, it is doing so in accordance with the souls that have chosen to be part of these events. No soul in any human form or otherwise has not made a contract, so to speak, with the earth, and in accordance to what the earth wants, these souls are going to choose to be part of these events. Does that make sense? We're not
Yes,
able to use the
I understood.
correct
Both.
vocabulary here, but it is basically what we're trying to say is that those of you who will probably perish in these events have already chosen to do so
Mm.
beforehand. It is the experience that you have chosen to have in these lifetimes in accordance with the earth. The earth will never harm a single being on its surface or inside without their own permission. It is not looking to retaliate, to fight, to hurt with its own needs in mind.
Yes.
It is doing so in accordance with the entire acceptance of the energies that are and that will be, that are willing to be part of those events. You do not have to fear or be prepared for anything, as if your soul has made a contract with the earth to experience such events, it will inevitably happen one way or the other, no matter how prepared you are. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
when we are talking about future events, yes, there are going to be a lot more events regarding water. There's a lot of flooding in many areas. We also see the seas and the rivers swelling up and flooding a lot of areas. We also see heavy downpours. We also see forest fires in certain areas with volcanic eruptions. The flooding can also be through tsunamis, but mostly all of these calamities are going to take place for the next couple of years so that the earth can recalibrate itself.
Mm.
Living in fear or preparedness is not going to help,
Correct.
as when you fear these events, you are becoming more stubborn to the programming that we are
Yeah.
trying to release from your beings. The pole shift, in a way, has already happened. Energetically, the pole has already shifted
Okay.
to a level where you will see changes of weather, new discoveries in the pole areas of Antarctica and Arctic. You will notice green land masses appearing in next coming years. You will notice weather shifts, especially in the continents of Africa and Asia. They would experience different weather patterns or unusual weather patterns till they realize that it is because they're now in a new alignment. They're not where they used to be.
Mm.
We do see a lot of European countries having hotter temperatures and the southern countries below the equator having cooler temperatures. There is going to be a lot of natural calamities that will rearrange or realign the land masses on Earth. But again, it is not going to be at a mass extinction level where you need to be worried about, at least not right now. Like we said, 3072 is a year that will probably have more of these changes or alignments that would happen, that would shift a lot more on Earth. But for now, we would like you to know that it is not as destructive as Earth wants it to be. It is going to happen in smaller portions, yet, as beings in the human body, you will probably sense this as a lot.
Hmm.
Try not to give into the
Yes.
energies of fear or disruption. And remember, those who have chosen to leave have done so
Yes.
in accordance with the earth.
True.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I think that's about it. How about you, Sanjay?
Yeah, I would like to know about the solar flare.
Yeah.
The solar flares have been happening for a very long time. What information would you like about that?
So, is solar flares actually going to cause any sort of global scale disruption in our day-to-day lives? That because we hear this information, it's out there that some kind of global
So you
event.
need to understand that when the solar flares hit Earth and the Earth's electromagnetic fields repel most of the solar flares, it has been doing so for so many years. But at the moment, since the Earth is shifting on its axis, the solar flares are hitting the Earth's electromagnetic fields, which are not as strong as what they were in a different alignment. Do you understand what we mean? The bulge of the solar electromagnetic energies that were repelling the solar flares are now being shifted slightly. Until they adjust themselves, the solar flares will interfere with electronics or satellite communications, things of that sort. But it
Okay.
is not something that would happen for long term. It's a short burst of energies that might disrupt communications. We don't see it damaging any large scale technologies that you have going on Earth. And as we say this, we can't help but smile because your technologies are not yet as advanced that
Mm.
would be affected at such a scale. The solar flares that are coming in are helping the Earth realign itself. The axis tilt is being helped by these solar flares. The way they're showing it to me is like when the solar flares are hitting the slightly moving the Earth's alignments because they're
Mm.
affecting the electromagnetic fields, and the electromagnetic field is like what is tilting the Earth's axis. I don't know if that makes sense.
Kind of pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just feels like the solar flares are hitting Earth in a way that are actually helping the entire shifting of axis. Like it's contributing to it. Let's say that it's not the only reason why it's shifting, but it's contributing to it. It's helping it. And because for the past few years, these solar flares have gotten really, really intense. The kind of like I'm being shown like the bottom part of Earth, like the southern hemisphere. Um, that is where I don't know if there's like an ozone hole or like there's some sort of like I'm feeling like there's a weakness there because the majority of the solar flares are able to crack through that area, and I feel like because of that, the southern hemisphere is what is being affected quite a
Mm.
lot with the
There's
solar flare.
something called a South Atlantic anomaly around the South Atlantic Ocean near South America and
Okay.
Antarctica. Is it around there? Is it like,
Yes, so I'm
uh,
seeing it below the equator, right? Like so the
yeah,
southern hemisphere. And I feel like it's like kind of like there's a weak spot. There's a weak
yeah,
spot.
yeah.
And I feel like that's where most of the solar activities are going
Mhm.
on, and it feels like it's also producing a lot of heat in underground oceans. Underground
Mm.
oceans are heating up. It also feels like they could probably contribute to underground volcanic eruptions. And
Mm.
I don't know, there's like I'm feeling like a lot of heat inside of the oceans, not like on
Okay.
Earth, like not on the land masses, but like something is going on underneath the surface. Like it feels like if top part of the ocean is cold, the bottom part is like boiling, you know.
Okay.
Oh.
So there's some it's abnormal, right? Because the hot water will come up and the cold water
Hmm.
sinks down. But this is like it's like this hot that's it's hotter at the bottom of the ocean than it's on top. I don't know if it is to do with something to do with the core
Hmm.
of the earth, and also like volcanic eruptions in the deep underground waters of the ocean. I don't know. They're giving me this feeling of like it being like this is what they're showing me right now. Like they're showing me like the Earth's core, red hot core, and then they're showing me like water boiling, and then there's cold water
Hmm.
on top. It feels like that's an anomaly on its own, but
Hmm.
at the same time, I'm feeling like because of the solar pulses of energy coming through South America, parts of Africa, parts of New Zealand, all of that could be affected by satellite disruptions. But I'm not really seeing much apart from that. Like they're just showing me, they're saying that it's required for the Earth to kind of tilt,
Hmm.
but it's not the only reason. Like the Earth itself is like, it's like the way they're showing it to me is like the Earth is trying to stretch its body, like
Hmm.
move.
Oh.
Like it's like that. It's like I've been in this for too long. Like I need to move. That is the feeling that like I'm getting when I connect with Earth's energies.
When will it be complete, this entire shift?
Shift to what?
The pole completely shifting. It started shifting. It's going to settle in a new position. And so when can we expect that to end so that all of these events can settle down?
Like we told you earlier, this is already done. The
Okay.
pole shift is almost there. When we see it as already being done, the shift
Mhm.
already happening.
Okay.
It is just the alignment of the land masses and the water of the surface of the earth realigning itself
Mhm.
with whatever is moving underneath it. Even if the pole shift is done, the inner part of the earth, the other layers of the earth are also aligning itself and shifting.
Mhm.
So even if this shifts, you will still have effects of the inner belts of the earth rotating and shifting and realigning themselves. So the moment they do that, you will have tectonic plate shifts. You will also see massive chasms of land masses just breaking away and creating new land masses. All of this is going to take a little while in Earth's time, but we are already seeing all of this happening. It is not new. It has started for many years now, but you will visibly probably start seeing it in the next 10, 15 years. And that's all the information I'm getting at the moment. I feel like they're kind of disconnecting a little bit
Okay.
because we're asking questions they don't want to answer. It feels
Thank you.
like that. It feels like, okay, we can't give away too much of information at the moment because it feels like it could create more fear. It could
Mhm.
create more chaos or unrest. So they don't want to
Mhm.
create that. So I'm going to disconnect from them now, okay?
Okay. Thank you. Welcome back.
Did
Welcome back.
any of that make sense? Because I feel
Yeah.
like I was just making
Yeah.
stuff up.
Yeah.
Because even my language, it didn't feel like it was flowing. It felt like I was making grammatical errors. Like I couldn't, like, it felt suddenly like I was searching for words to say what I was hearing. And it's not like so much so like it was an entity that was talking. It felt like the entire fleet of energy that was outside of Earth that was like speaking to us about
Yeah.
what's
Actually,
going on.
wanted to ask you, who are we connected to right now? Who's speaking? Actually.
Oi.
It wasn't like one person. It felt like a fleet, that fleet
It's
that I was talking about that was outside of Earth. It
like
felt like
a,
some sort of a commander of that
Did you
fleet.
want to stop the recording?
Yeah, no, I was just trying to like wrap it up by
Ah,
saying that it's like a fleet commander or somebody like that who was giving me the information. And there were certain times when they were like, it felt like he was having a conversation with someone else
Mhm.
and asking like, do we even give them this information? You know?
Okay.
Because it
okay.
felt like some of the information was a lot, there was a lot of fear-based stuff.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to kind of talk about it, like especially the mass extinction question that you had. It felt like they were showing it to me, but from their perspective, it's not like a sad event, like it was
Yeah.
not something that, oh my God, people are going to die, we need to rescue them. It's not
Yeah.
like that. It's like, yeah, but they're just transitioning. Like they're going from
Yeah.
one way of being to another. And it literally felt like, I don't know if you guys watched this movie called Aliens or something, and there was something about aliens. It's like they would remove their outer layer and then the
Mhm.
alien inside
Arrival.
would come out and then take off in the spaceship. It
Yeah.
felt like that.
Mhm.
It felt like they were just discarding the human layer
Mhm.
and coming into their own true self. Okay. And it feels like most of these beings who were there till the end were all volunteers, like who've come from other planets and who've chosen to have incarnations on Earth. So, like, for example, if you and I are like Syrians, we're going to look like Syrians when we
Mhm.
release that and go back to our planets, because our life on Sirius is not yet done.
Yeah.
It
So yeah, Elena, that's what she says. She says she's from Pleiades, and her Pleiadian self is still there, and she's come back 300 years back in time. So
wow.
her actual time is over there, and she's come back, and her partner, who's 300 years ahead, is also in one of these ships and helping humanity. So she constantly talks to him, and
It would be so cool if we can actually connect with Elena, one of those people, to collaborate this information that I just received, because this is something I've done for the first time. Like,
nice,
because when
nice.
I closed my eyes, there was no distraction. I was not looking
Yeah,
at
you
your
were locked
faces.
in. You were locked
Yeah,
in.
and I was seeing visuals that were like from space. Like I wasn't seeing it from Earth. Like I was in
Yeah,
their ship watching it. It felt like that.
yeah. And one
So
new thing, I never used to feel it, but I don't know. Suddenly, these days I'm getting sensitive. So when you were locked in, I felt so, how do I say, extremely drowsy. I could see like the energy was very heavy, like too much. Like it was like a higher vibration energy. So it was very difficult for me to stay awake. Like it was
Yeah,
very easy
because
for me to slip in. Like I was thinking, should I also like connect? But then I was like, okay, let me just. It was
you
um
should have done that. Maybe
yeah
we can
I
try this next time.
yeah it was like it was very easy for me to go still immediately, and it was very heavy. And the minute you disconnected, see, then immediately I became very normal. When you were in trance, I was like, oh, it's so much, and the energy was a bit high for me.
And I was also listening to only Sanjay ask the questions after a point. I
Uh,
was like, Harish had a lot of questions. What happened?
no, I couldn't. I was very silent. I was,
It was, you know, when I was in that state, like initially I thought I'm not going to connect because I've been having these headaches. And I thought, I don't think I'll go that deep. The moment I closed my eyes and I was like,
yeah.
guys, like whoever is here, if you want to
Hmm.
connect with the highest good of everyone, right now is your chance to like use
Hmm.
me as a channel. And I just went like
Yeah,
I didn't have to like
Yeah.
deep breathe or get into like
yeah,
any. It just like they were like, yes, okay, we're ready. And
yeah.
that's when, so initially when I started, I was also doubting if I was connected. That is why I was describing what they were saying. But
Mm,
then the moment in the more important information started coming, they just took over and they were like, okay, we're going to talk
mm,
about it. But then there were
mm,
times when they were showing it to me instead of speaking to me. So I
yeah.
had to then describe again, like,
Okay.
this is what I'm seeing. But half of the, like, it's like my consciousness is also there. And then
Mm,
they're also there. And then I'm
mm,
like,
yeah.
so I'm having questions in my mind, wondering whatever I'm saying, if first of all, if it is making sense. Second, why am I seeing this stuff? Like,
Yeah.
is it even true? Is it like some dream
Yeah.
I'm having, like
Mm.
because my eyes are closed?
Yeah, it's true. Elena has mentioned she's gone actually there physically. Like, there are like thousands of ships stationed on Ganymede, or Jupiter's one of Jupiter's moons.
Okay. And
They
it
stay.
was
It's like an outpost again. So they stationed there, and from there they monitor Earth. So
so for me, the way I saw it was like if this is Earth, like a round ball,
yeah.
it was glowing yellow, but like the color of egg yellow, like it was like
Mm,
it was not very bright. It was just
mm,
there, and then there was a membrane,
Oh.
like just like a
Mm.
egg yolk, like there was a
mm.
membrane around it. And this, I'm seeing all these metallic ships, like stationed like
Waiting to enter.
in like hundreds of them stationed around it like that, and then the waiting for that membrane to collapse and the light
Mm,
to become brighter so that they can land.
mm,
And then
okay.
slowly that light went away, and then I started seeing the shapes of the continents and stuff. And I'm seeing there's not one speck of green on them. And
Mm,
when they were talking about Earth, the trees, right? It felt like literally Lord of the Rings, like they're picking themselves up and walking away,
okay.
you know? And it feels like they're actually not trees. They're like literally beings of consciousness
Mhm, yeah.
um, that can move if they want to.
Yeah.
Like we think they're only stationary things and
Mhm,
they'll grow like, but it's not. It's not. So I,
mhm.
I was getting a bit like, am I going into a dream state? But I wish anybody
No,
listening to this
actually,
when I put this up.
originally, like before the fall, we had trees that were like more than 1,000 feet high, and
Yes.
it seems like when you were even like when you go close to them, you'll enter samadhi.
Mm-hmm.
That was the energy of the tree. You don't need to work on enlightenment and all. You just need to go near the tree, and immediately you'll enter that trance state. And they were all cut down.
Yes.
Uh,
You can see
uh,
they've become fossilized and they
yeah,
become like
yeah,
rock.
yeah.
Yeah.
The big one, the huge ones. There was
Yeah.
like I think it was like the tree of the world, or called the tree of
Yeah.
life or something. It
Oh,
was
but
like the
there are
central
so many
axis of
of
the
them.
world.
The central
Yeah,
connecting
the
point.
biggest tree, which and our oxygen levels were much different back then.
And
Mm.
we didn't
And
have the moon back then, right? So it was different.
yeah, the moon was
Yeah.
also placed, but I don't know when. There is again
Yeah.
some
That's for
hazy
like
information.
another
Yeah,
episode.
yeah. It was it was brought But,
Yeah, but whoever, like, once I put this up, whoever is watching this, please leave your comments below also,
yeah,
is what I would say. If they have experienced this information or they've heard someone else talking about this information, because this is the first time, like, I've tried something like this. But
yeah,
I would like to do more, be more prepared with the questions, I guess, because we were talking about this and we just randomly started asking this to the Galactic Federation or whoever the ship's
yeah.
commander was. The funny part is I didn't see any beings. I could only
Okay.
feel them. Like I could feel the sense of being next to a being that was
Mm-hmm.
like a commander, give
Mm-hmm.
a very ancient energy, like just
Mm-hmm.
telling me information about what's going on. It was more
You
like
think?
like if you were watching a war and if you were if you were the army and the army commander is telling you, blow by
Mm-hmm.
blow, that this is what is happening, that is what is happening. That is what
Yes.
I could see. Like it was not from like the light beings of all knowledge. It was more like from a commander's perspective. So that is why some of the questions I was not able to see, like when you saw talking about calamities and what's going to happen in the future. I knew like according to the energy, the solar, what will it cause? That I could see, but I couldn't see from like a larger perspective than
Mm-hmm.
that. So it was just,
Do you think it
and
could be
even
Lord Asta?
sorry,
Do you think it
Ashtar,
could have been Lord Asta?
Ashtar command.
I don't know. I didn't ask.
Commander.
For me,
Mm.
when I go into these states, I'm like whichever energy is of
Mm.
the highest vibration wants to come through, they can come
Yeah.
through. Like I don't ask names because usually they don't have names. It's only for us to understand who they are.
Yeah,
Correct.
So I guess that is what it is. But it was very interesting, and I think we should do something like this again.
Yeah.
definitely.
When you were saying that, we will go back into our original bodies. So the dream I had, I felt very comfortable in that ship. It was like I have already been in that ship.
Yeah.
It was like it didn't feel like something new. Like, ah, yeah, it's so. I mean, I know it's like imagine you go back to your old home. You know where
Mhm.
everything is. You know where, right? So it was that kind of a feeling. So, uh, I mean, I resonated with that part when they say like your own star family will come and pick you up, and so you're gonna go back.
Yeah.
So through the means which you came in. So
That's so cool. But
yeah,
whoa, this is like I never thought this type of information will come through, but I'm glad we did this.
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a lot of important information like that.
yes.